Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. This is the second in the series that I'm doing this year for the hashtag 30th year anniversary. A little backstory before I get into this. I was thinking the other day, in fact last night, I was like, wow, the month is halfway over, and I already missed the LA Guns one by a week. I should probably get on this project, go through my list, pick out the ones I want to do, and then, put them in some kind of order, chronological, of course, and figure out what's coming next. So I start going through this stuff last night, and I'm going down my list, my alphabetical list of what I want to do. And as I'm looking up each one individually, a good chunk of them are like towards the end of the year, and I was like, oh, okay, well, some of these are just going to wait several months, 6 to 8 plus months, even longer. Some are November. And all of a sudden I get to Megadeth, So Far So Good So What, and it says January 19th, and I was like, oh, well, crap, it's tomorrow. And, well, now it's here. So I guess I better get on it then. So, here you go. The second in my series, like I said, hashtag 30th year anniversary. This one is going to be talking about Megadeth, So Far So Good, So What, from 1988. Wow. And I'm going to tie in something else to it a little bit, because this was actually one of my first introductions to this band. Was one song from this, In My Darkest Hour, from The Decline, what the heck is that movie called, documentary, The Decline of the Western Civilization, The Metal Years, part 2? Part 2 of The Metal Years. And I remember, what was it? It was, they played, I'm trying to remember how I saw this documentary. I don't think I rented it, although I probably did as a kid, at least once or twice. I don't own it. But now that I've, was thinking about this the last 24 hours, I'm like, I need to own that. Need a copy of it. Get it somewhere, I don't know. Look it up online. Who knows? I remember watching this documentary. I'm pretty sure I saw this on MTV, and they aired it before or after a Headbangers Ball back then. And I remember watching this, and a good chunk of the documentary done in Hollywood is about glam stuff, Some of it's a little more, all sorts of different bands, grungier, whatever, glam, over-the-top glam, everything from Poison to, and Kiss and Megadeth. And I remember watching this documentary and listening to, and it's right at the end of the movie, I think it's live, and they also show some of the in the studio performance of this song, In My Darkest Hour. And this song just, I don't know what it was, but certain songs just hit you. And this song, watching that documentary and listening to these guys in the interview and walking down the street and talking, it was so badass, and just something about that song just triggered me, It's, I don't know how else to, it just, wow, it just gave me goosebumps. As far as metal, because most of the other stuff I was listening to at that time or before then, I had listened to some Metallica, but most of it was, glam, hard rock, a little bit of heavy metal. But this was my first big dose of metal that I was like, oh, I need to hear more of this. And I remember buying the cassette then somewhere around that time, I think. And yeah, and it just blew me away. This is one heavy metal album, and I listen to a lot more classic stuff than newer stuff. Newer stuff I listen to like Devin Townsend. Oh, it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's not a lot of modern or recent heavy metal bands that really get me like, wow, a lot of classic stuff I listen to more than the newer stuff. But this is one CD. Like, I popped this one in today, and I could listen to this all day. I could probably listen to Into the Lungs of Hell 50 times in a row. And just oh my God, just, I love this one. This is one I can just, you don't listen to something for a while, and you're like, oh, I want to give that one a spin. You listen to a few of the songs, the ones you like, the ones you know the best. You'll listen to those pretty much all the way through. Some of the others you'll listen to part way through, skip ahead to the ones you like more. And before you know it, you're done listening to it. This one, for example, today when I was, just, getting a feel for it again, because I honestly hadn't listened to this one. It was a few months ago I gave this one a spin again. And then I also learned that there were different mixes of this one from the remasters. And I was listening to, I think I listened to the original, and I was looking all this up on the Megadeth topic on YouTube. You can go down the list of all the different individual songs. The original release of this is on a playlist, but all the remasters are just thrown in randomly. They don't have a playlist for the CD or the full release, So I'm listening to this, and then I was listening to the 2004, I think it's 2004 remaster of this. And it sounds great, but certain things are significantly different. Like, one thing, okay, this is neither part of the remix or the original. This is just something I noticed, okay? I hadn't listened to some of this in over 2 decades. And it's just one I hadn't listened to in a long time. And I'm listening to it. And the intro to Into the Lungs of Hell, there's orchestration and trumpets. And I listened back to it a couple times because I don't remember hearing that in the original when I bought this back in the late 80s. I don't remember the trumpets. And I'm like, where the hell did these trumpets come from? Why are there trumpets in my Megadeth music? It was just one of those odd things that just hit me, like, so weird. So then I start listening to these different mixes and trying to figure out the differences between this song, this version of this and this version of this. And the original sounds like, whatever. The 2004 version, the trumpets and orchestration are brought forward more, if you know what I mean. Like, you can hear them more distinctly. And if you haven't heard these before, I invite you to go check this out, because on some of these there are significant differences. Some of them I really couldn't tell much difference, other than something sounded a little crisper or something. I'd have to give it a couple more listens. I already gave it 100 listens today, but whatever. It's called the Paul Laney mix. whoever he is, he did mixes on 4 of the songs, so half the recording. Different mixes on 4 out of the 8 of these songs. And on the Paul Laney mix of Into the Lungs of Hell, the orchestration looks like it's like pushed back. Like you still hear it, but it's not as definite. That's interesting. I'll talk a little bit more about this, and then I'll wrap this up because I don't want to go on forever with this. But it was very interesting hearing the different mixes, because not a lot of CDs that are remastered have different mixes of different songs. So that made me very, what is the difference of this one? Set the World on Fire, I didn't notice a lot of difference between the 2 mixes. There's some. The was it Mary Jane? There was some, I don't remember what the difference was. The In My Darkest Hour, there's an acoustic on the 2004 remaster that is the intro of this that there's not in the original. And then it's taken out of the Paul Laney mix. At least I think it is. So that's a significant difference. And the intro, here's the other one. The other significant one that I noticed. And if you notice something that I'm not catching, by all means, put it in the comments below, and I'll, listen to it back, because I love this one. I'll listen to this all day and all night. The intro to Mary Jane. There's on the 2004 remaster, it sounds a little better than the old original. But on the Paul Laney mix, the distorted voice in the intro, the distortion is taken out, and it's just Dave Mustaine talking deep. There's no over it, like a double distorted voice. That's taken out of the Paul Laney mix. That's interesting. And it gives the whole intro a different feel to it, because it's just Dave. So yeah, go check that out if you've never heard it before. It's really, really kind of interesting. But yeah, this is one I can go back to and listen to all day and all night. There are certain songs on here that just, I don't know. This is my favorite. I know this is probably funny, may sound funny to some, but this is my favorite Megadeth release. I can go back to this one all day and all night. And there's a lot of Megadeth that I've never heard before, just because I keep going back to this one. And I listen to some of the new stuff, and it sounds good. And he's got a great band. But Chuck Baylor, Jeff Young, Dave Mustaine, and Dave Ellefson, sorry. This whole thing, top to bottom, front, back, upside down, every which way you take it, this is my Megadeth right here. Okay, this is what caught me, and this is what I always go back to. So, I wanted to talk about this. I didn't know really what else to talk about it until I started listening to the different mixes, and that was a good chunk of this video. So whatever, it is what it is, So yeah, but now I want to go and watch that documentary again, and just and look at all the different people, the different bands, and it's kind of like sitting in a mall and people watching, like, oh, look at this guy, oh, look at this guy, And in fact, the feud between Jeff Young and Dave Mustaine has been in the news recently. I didn't hear any details. Something about an apology. I'm gonna have to go look into that. But I know it's, you know, from drugs and fights and excuse me. This guy got kicked out. And this guy went into rehab, and this story and that story, and you know, there's a lot of that with this band. Unfortunately, you know, this band is about as rocky as it gets with band personnel changes and rehabs and drugs and all this and that, and it's yeah, it's it's crazy past of Megadeth, and but in the chaos of the late '80s and everything that they went through with personnel changes, this is my go-to Megadeth right here. So far, so good. So what? So yeah, thanks for watching. This is the second of the series, like I said, hashtag 30th year anniversary. And yeah, let me know what you think of this CD. You know, comments, favorite song, whatever you want to, you know, talk to me. Whatever, you know, tell me about any thoughts you have on this CD. You know, and if this isn't your favorite and you have a favorite, tell me what it is. Whatever, you know, I don't care. Talk to me. So so thanks for watching. Give the video a like if you like the content. Sub to the channel. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more this year. In fact, I'll give you just a snippet of what else is coming. And these are in no particular order. These are all just alphabetical. I'm going to be doing Anthrax, State of Euphoria, Bullet Boys, Cinderella, Long Cold Winter, Lita Ford's self-titled. That's a very good one. Can't wait to talk about that one. Already did the self-titled debut, the LA Guns. Metallica, And Justice for All. Another great metal classic. Ozzy, No Rest for the Wicked. Rat. Realm. That is going to be a tough one to find because I couldn't find any Wikipedia on it at all. And if you don't know who that is, it's a Milwaukee metal band that I saw a couple times way back in the day. Way back when I had hair. You know, high school days. And I love that band. They had 2 releases, and I've got them around here somewhere. So I'm going to try to do some research on that, try to find out when it came out, whatever, talk about it. What else? Scorpions, Van Halen, Warrant, Winger. Of all the debuts from 30 years ago, Winger's on the list too. That's right, folks. So yeah, everything from metal to, oh my God, that came out then. You know, it's just and everything in between. So like I said, that's what's coming up over the course of this next year, because it is the 30th year of stuff that came out from '88. So thanks again for watching. See you for the next one.